Hello everyone, and today we are making a Terraria biome tier list. And I am very excited to show you the Terraria biome tier list. So, we're going to rank all the biomes from the best to the worst, and I hope you guys enjoy this. So let's get into this. Let's get right into it, and we're starting with one of the first biomes you spawn in, the Plains biome. And I think the Plains biome is a really good biome. Like, it's a great starting biome. It's peaceful. It's fun. And you can build your house there. It's really good. Problem is, it can get taken over by other biomes pretty easily, but it is a really good biome, and recommendedly the home biome for a lot of people. It's pretty plain and vanilla, but I really like the Plains biome. It's probably the best spot to build. It's the most peaceful, and I'm debating between great or good, but I think I'm going to go into the great tier. I think it's barely in the great because, it's one of the best spots to build a house, and it's also one of the safest areas. Now we're getting into the caverns. I think this is like the underground. The underground is average. Like, the underground's fine, but problem is that the undergrounds kind of get outclassed by the caverns, which the caverns is a step above. You can find buildings underground. It's really big. The nice sized caves. You get life crystals. Really dangerous though. There are a lot of lava, so it's a really dangerous biome, but really fun to explore. I think it's a good biome. I don't think it's quite as good as the Plains, but I think this is really good for exploration reasons. I think the cavern is a very good biome. Now we're getting into the corruption. And we're talking about the overground corruption here because, as you can see, we do got the underground corruption and underground crimson, which we will talk about. By the way, there's the overground hollow too. So, overground corruption is average. Like, it's fine. It's a good evil biome, but the crevices can be a nightmare. Like, the crevices and the corruption biomes can be an absolute nightmare to transverse against, especially if you don't have any mobility items. The Crimson, overall, its counterpart is slightly better. It looks more disgusting and ugly, but it's easier to transverse, and also, I just think the biome's a lot more smoothed out compared to Corruption. At least the Overground versions. The Corruption, I think you do get better loot in some areas. Crimson, same way, you get better loot in certain areas, but they're overall pretty solid evil biomes on the surface. Now we're going into, the desert. It's bad. It's just a desert. It's just a desert. And even though they have added certain things to the desert, like the underground desert, which is good, which, by the way, that's its own biome. The overground desert, there's nothing there. It's just cacti and the occasional pyramids. You can also find oases, which is fine, but the oases themselves don't save this biome. It's plain, it's drab, it's just ugly. Very good to build in, but that's it. Enemies are annoying. I don't like it. Dungeon. Where do I place the dungeon at? I think the dungeon would be in the great tier. I mean, you go in it at the start of the game, you battle a boss, the Skeletron, which is one of the better boss fights in pre-hard mode. You get a lot of loot in the dungeon, you get cool blocks, you get cool furniture, you get some traps, life crystals, gold keys, and then in hard mode you get new enemies, new weapons, new summonable items like the pumpkin moon medallion and the naughty present. There's just a lot of loot you can get in the dungeon, and it's a really dangerous and challenging place to be. And I really like the dungeon for that. And plus, I really do like the jump scare with the Dungeon Guardian. That gives it a bonus. I think the dungeon is a great biome. I love the dungeon personally. Now we're going to is this the Overground mushroom biome, or is that just mushroom biomes overall? I think that's mushroom biomes overall. I think mushroom biomes overall are good. They look really cool. I like the little glow they make underground. Overworld, you can have the truffle, which is nice, and I just think it's a very good biome overall. I don't think it's right up to great or good. I don't think it's right up to the great, but I really do like the mushroom biome. Hollowed, Overground Hollowed's amazing. I love the Overground Hollowed. The colors and the atmosphere is awesome. The enemies are challenging but really nice. I really like the unicorns, and they drop their horns, which are useful for crafting potions. Make pixie wings with the pixie dust. The pearlwood trees are a nice new material to make your house is out of. I really do like the Hollowed. And also, you can use the Hollowed as an evil biome to block the corruption and crimson, which gives it another benefit. It's a huge bonus for the Hollowed. So that's why I love the Hollowed, because even though it's an evil biome, it's peaceful. You can still have NPCs moving in, and you can use the Hollowed to block off the corruption and crimson from taking over your whole world. So instead of having corruption and crimson in your whole world, you can have the Hollowed, which the Hollowed isn't the best. I like the plains better, but the Hollowed is pretty nice. I really do like the Hollowed biome. The jungle I have, okay, it's split into two. Let's go into the Overground jungle. It's average. And the reason why the Overground jungle is average, it's a good place to build in, and it's a very unique environment. Which, I know what you're thinking. It's amazing. It's plus. It's awesome. But getting through there in pre-hard mode is an absolute nightmare. With the jungle slimes and the jungle bats, the clingers that knob at you. Like, it's a nightmare going through the jungle biomes. Like, the jungle biomes are just an absolute nightmare transversing in pre-hard mode. And then even if you get into hard mode, you got to deal with derplings, you got to deal with giant tortoises, and you're constantly swarmed. You could get the leaf wings from here, though, which is nice, which is a nice pair of wings to start in hard mode. So overall, I think it's average. I love the environment, and I also love the place itself. It's just the enemy spawn rates. The enemy spawn rates are ridiculous in the overground jungle, and also in the underground jungle, which we'll get to in a second. And then let's get to the lizard temple. That's going bad tier for me. Now, this is a complete missed opportunity in my eyes. Like, the lizard temple it's bland. You go here, you fight the golem, and then you leave. That's basically what you do here. And I do like how there's a certain there's a certain mission you got to do, and you got to get past the temple. But I really don't like how it doesn't have anything that guards the guardian temple door. You can get in the guardian temple door easily. Just get some platforms and hammer them, and then you can go through the door. Or use a Rod of Discord, or use actuated blocks. Which I know what you're thinking. You can get into the dungeon easily. Like, you don't have to defeat Skeletron. But you get the Dungeon Guardian jump scare. The Lizard Temple doesn't have that jump scare. Where it has that same pizzazz. All the stuff is the same color. All the traps. The only thing I like about the Lizard Temple is the traps. The traps are fun. Even then, it's not enough to save it. And the Golem might be one of the easiest boss fights in the game. Golem is so exploitable. It's just, I get often disappointed when I'm in this phase. And plus, it's also a nightmare going through the underground jungle trying to look for it half the time. Like, it's a nightmare looking for it. And then once you find it, you don't really enjoy it. Plus, there's only a variety of two enemies. Lizards and flying snakes. That's it. That's all you get. When the dungeon has a plethora of different enemies and different drops and different items, you don't really get that much from the Lizard Temple. I really think they should add a golem head, like an attackable golem head if you go into the temple early that one-shots you, kind of like the Dungeon Guardian, and then make the chest loot better. That's what I would say. That would be a nice improvement to this biome. We would put it in either the good or average tier. Because it's bland, it's not fun, and despite being a requirement, it's definitely one of the lowlights in Terraria. Meteorite, it's bad. Like, you get Meteorite, it's basically just a Meteorite biome. That's basically all it is. The Ocean biome, I'm going to put that in the great tier. there's so much you can do in the ocean. I mean, you battle the Dukefish on here. You can fish different numbers of fish. It's a quite peaceful place. I really like how peaceful it is. You can get there using the magic conch shell. You can get there almost immediately. It's just really peaceful, and I really like the environment of the oceans, and the fact that you have two of them makes it really nice. I love the ocean biome a lot. And I really feel like it's really underrated compared to the other biomes in the game. So yeah, I think the ocean biomes are really good. Not many enemies in the ocean and not many drops in the ocean, which I could see why you could put it in like good or average, but I just like its atmosphere is fine. I like the beach. And also the fact that it's just a peaceful edge of the ocean. And the fact that you can battle the Dukefish on here with that much space is always a positive. Now let's get to the snow biome. The snow biome is interesting because there's not too much of this added in hard mode. But pre-hard mode, the snow biome is amazing. First of all, the environment. I love the snowy environment, and it's really nice. I mean, the wintry environment is really cool for building houses and also just being in general. Snow blocks can also be used as protectors against corruption and crimson as well, which also makes it a really big plus. And then the loot you can get in the start of the game. The enemies in the ice biome are not that dangerous compared to like the desert. And you can get really powerful loot in the ice biome. You can get ice blade, you can get the ice boomerang, you can get the snowball cannon, you can get the frost bark, the frost boots, which can make you run very fast. You get the ice skates. There's just so many good items you can get from the ice biome. And even in hard mode, you can get the ice drops from the mimics and the frozen turtle shell, which is one of the best items in hard mode. I mean, it literally saves your life. So the ice biome has a lot of good drops. Love the environment. Love the underground bit. I love everything about the ice biome. Honestly, it might be in contention for the best biome in the game. I can see it as in contention. Oh, actually, there is an underground ice biome too, which we'll get to that. But I think Overground is great. I think the Overground ice biome is great. I don't know what this is. What's this? Is this the marble biome? I don't even know what this is. It doesn't show anything. What is this? I don't see anything. That's the space biome. Oh, that's the space biome. Okay. I understand. So yeah, this is where you're all the way up in space. I think the space biome is average. Despite having nothing up in space other than a couple floating islands, it is very cool to have your own floating island, and it's just a very peaceful environment. I love the music. You can fight a mini boss up there called the Wyverns. You can get Martian probes up there easier. So I think the space biome's alright. I think it's an average biome, and even though it's empty, it doesn't compare to a couple of other ones. It has a pretty good environment. I like the environment. Now let's go to Underground Corruption. Underground Corruption, average. The enemies are just... I don't like the enemies in the Underground Corruption that much. I like the Underground Crimson, though. Even though the Floatly Grocers and the Ichor stickers are really dangerous, I think Ichor is just a lot better item compared to the Cursed Flames. And Cursed Flames aren't bad. I just think the Ichor is so much better. Dropping 20 defense on any enemy is just amazing. I think they nerfed it to 15, but even then, it's still insane. Just Ichor by itself puts Crimson a tier up. But they're honestly, the Underground Corruption and Crimson are interchangeable. They are an evil biome and can spread throughout your whole world, which is bad, and the enemies can be annoying. But I do like the loot you get from these biomes, and also, the Souls of Night, and also all the cool items you can get. The Underground Desert. Now, I hate the Overworld Desert, but I love the Underground Desert. I think it's in the good. I don't think the Underground Desert is that good in hard mode, and that's the reason why it's not in the great tier, because it doesn't really make the expansion in the hard mode that well. But it's amazing in pre-hard mode, really challenging environment, and also with those cactus boulders, is really dangerous. You got to be very careful when transversing through here. It's kind of like you're sneaking in the biome. Like it's kind of like you're sneaking around, trying to not awaken anything. And those worms are really dangerous. Those doom crawlers and doom splicers are really dangerous. It can lead to a lot of insane moments. So, Underground Desert is actually really good. I love the Underground Desert. Underground Hollowed, I don't like it as much as the Overground Hollowed, although I do like the loot. The crystal shards are nice. You can get a boss summoning item called the Queen Slime, which is nice. I'm going to put it in the good tier. The Underground Hollowed is good. You can get some great loot out of it. I mean, the Rod of Discord, really rare drop from Chaos Elementals. And the Crystal Shards are used for healing potions. I don't think the environment's quite as good as like the Overground Hollowed, and that's because, Underground, honestly, I would rather be on the surface than underground, in my opinion. It is good to explore, but consistently, you would always like to be on the surface. But I do like the Underground Hollowed. The Underground Hollowed is really nice. You get a lot of loot down there, and it's good. I like it. Underground Jungle. I am conflicted on where to put it, because I could see people calling this the best biome. In terms of the loot that is dropped, you get so many things. You fight Plantera, which is a fun boss. You fight the queen bees and the beehives here. You find the lizard temple here. You find a lot of stuff in the underground jungle. And it's so much loot you can get. So it can honestly be the best just from that alone. But it can also be considered the worst because, just like with the overground jungle, the enemy spawn rates and also the fact it's really dangerous. Those beehives are annoying. The enemies, the stingers, it can cause poison. The beehives, if you spawn the queen bee prematurely, then you're gonna have an absolute nightmare. The lizard temple is a low light. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad. But overall, with all the stuff you can do in the jungle and how long in the game, I personally really like the jungle. And even though the jungle temple brings it down, the underground jungle itself is amazing. And I love the place that it is in the game. It's one of the harder biomes, and I really like it. Chlorophyte is a really fun item. The life fruits for your maximum health is awesome. And also, all the bosses and enemies, and it's just really fun. And I just like the look of the biome. The look at the overgrown, mossy biomes, the beehives, and the living mahogany trees are awesome. Plus, you can find some good loot, pre-hard mode and hard mode. So, I'm putting it in the great tier. Despite a lot of its flaws, I love the underground jungle biome. It definitely deserves to be in the great tier. The underworld, it's just average for me. It is good when in pre-hard mode, but it never evolves once you're in hard mode, other than a couple new enemies. And then we got the underground ice biome, which, just like the underground desert, I would say it's in the good. Same reasons as the underground desert. It's a great biome in pre-hard mode and it's awesome, but it doesn't really evolve that much in hard mode, despite getting a couple more items. So I think it's a little bit better than the underground desert, but I don't think it's quite up there at the underground jungle. So, these are my biomes. So out of the best, which one would be the best biomes in my opinion? So if I were to give a top 3, I would say the Hollowed, Dungeon, Plains, Oceans, Overworld Snow Biome, or Underground Jungle. Now if I were to give a top 3, I would probably do this. Ocean doesn't have too much, despite the cool environment. The dungeon only has a couple parts of the game that you're in, and the overworld snow biome doesn't usually have that many items. But the Hollowed, the Plains, or the Underground Jungle, which one of these 3 are the best biomes? And the winner for Terraria's best biome is the OG. Come on, it's the OG Plains biome. Get sunflowers, pumpkins, trees, and the rather flat terrain is just awesome. I love the OG Plains biomes, and it's just fun. I really just like the environment. It's peaceful. I like the music, and I just think the Plains biome overall is the best. Come on. So, with the Terraria Plains biome being the best, which of these three are the worst? The desert, the overgrown desert, because of having nothing on the surface other than a couple pyramids there and there. The Lizard Temple for being an absolute lowlight in the game, or meteors because they come out of nowhere, destroy your buildings, and not really considered a massive biome to begin with. And the worst biome, I would say, is the meteorite. Now, I do like the meteorite itself, and despite the Lizard Temple being bad, it does have its own unique building, and it doesn't destroy your buildings, and the meteorites can actually destroy buildings. And I don't really like that. These things can be kind of annoying. Despite meteorites looking kind of cool, it's only there for pre-hard mode. It's not useful in hard mode. Not useful in hard mode, only one enemy, and honestly probably shouldn't even be on this list. It should probably be in the mini biomes tier list with like the marble biomes and like the granite biomes, honestly. This should be part of like the mini biomes, not here. So, I don't think it's bad. Like, honestly, I think the Lizard Temple is slightly worse, but I think with having the meteorite being just such a small aspect of the game, makes it the worst Terraria biome on this list. So, there's my Terraria biomes tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to hear what y'all opinions are about these biomes in the comment section below. And yeah, I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!